Let us choose truth, let us choose honor, and let us choose joy. Because that's the best of America. But more than anything else, let us choose freedom. Why? Because that's the best of America. We're all Americans, and together, let's all choose Kamala Harris.
You probably heard Oprah Winfrey end her speech that way when she spoke on behalf of Kamala Harris at the 2024 Democratic Convention at the United Center in Chicago. And you might have also heard Oprah Winfrey introduce Michelle Obama this way during the former First Lady's 2018 book tour at the same United Center in Chicago.
She is your hometown girl from the south side of Chicago. Welcome, Michelle Obama!
Both clips of Oprah Winfrey boosting Democrats, both from the same building in Chicago, and both sound a bit like that time Oprah Winfrey yelled, "You get a car, you get a car, and you get a car." Well, now here's something for you. You get a podcast, and you get a podcast, and you get a podcast. Because this episode of C-SPAN's The Weekly is all about Oprah Winfrey and politics. Well, since it's Oprah, we might as well start at the top, at an award ceremony. A Nobel Prize, perhaps? Well, not that high. Let's try one step down. How about a Presidential Medal of Freedom? From November 20th, 2013, in the East Room of the White House, here's President Barack Obama.
Early in Oprah Winfrey's career, her bosses told her she should change her name to Susie. I have to pause here to say I got the same advice. They didn't say I should be named Susie, but they suggested I should change my name. People can relate to Susie. That's what they said. It turned out, surprisingly, that people could relate to Oprah just fine. In more than 4,500 episodes of her show, her message was always, you can. You can do, and you can be, and you can grow, and it can be better. And she was living proof, rising from childhood poverty and abuse to the pinnacle of the entertainment universe. But even with 40 Emmys, the distinction of being the first black female billionaire, Oprah's greatest strength has always been her ability to help us discover the best in ourselves. Michelle and I count ourselves among her many devoted fans and friends. As one of those fans wrote, I didn't know I had a light in me until Oprah told me it was there. What a great gift.
It wasn't the first time Oprah Winfrey shared a stage with Barack Obama. There was that time she endorsed him for president. December 8th, 2007, Des Moines, Iowa, 18,000 people, and Oprah's first time publicly endorsing a presidential candidate.
I have found the answer. It is the same question that our nation is asking. Are you the one? Are you the one? I'm here to tell you, Iowa, he is the one. He is the one. Barack Obama.
And another appearance on behalf of Barack Obama, February 3rd, 2008, introducing Michelle Obama at UCLA.
No one knows more about the character, the heart, or the intention of Barack Obama than the woman who agreed to take this journey with him. Who, through her own courage and her own sacrifice and dedication to public service, has already shown us that she's going to make some kind of tremendous first lady of this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Obama!
10 years later, Oprah Winfrey returned to the political scene, November 1st, 2018, in Georgia, campaigning for Democratic governor candidate Stacey Abrams. The appearance came during a boom of speculation about Oprah Winfrey herself wanting to run for political office.
And I want to make it very clear to all the press, everybody, I'm not here because I'm making some grandstand because I'm thinking about running myself. I don't want to run, okay? I'm not trying to test any waters. Don't want to go in those waters. I'm here today because of Stacey Abrams. And I'm here today because of the men and because of the women who were lynched, who were humiliated, who were discriminated against, who were suppressed, who were repressed and oppressed for the right for the equality at the polls. And I want you to know that their blood has seeped into my DNA, and I refuse to let their sacrifices be in vain. I refuse.
Republican Secretary of State Brian Kemp beat Stacey Abrams in the 2018 Georgia governor race. If Stacey Abrams had won, she would have become America's first black female governor. But in 2022, in Maryland, Wes Moore won. He became Maryland's first African-American governor and the third African-American person elected as governor of any U.S. state. And among the speakers at Governor Moore's January 18, 2023 inauguration, in fact, speaking just before his inaugural address, Oprah Winfrey. Wes Moore appeared on her show in 2010.
Whoa. Hello, Maryland! I can tell you it is such a joy to be here on this day, and what a joy to be back here in Maryland. I'm back! I have to say, I was just 22 years old when I first came to Maryland. I was starting a new job as a co-anchor of the 6 o'clock news on WJZ-TV. And I left my home in Nashville, and I drove myself here in an Oldsmobile Cutlass to Baltimore. I moved into the 3rd floor at 10109 Windstream Drive, Columbia, Maryland, which at the time was considered this new model city. I was so excited, living away from home for the first time, from my family for the very first time. And as I walked around the city of Baltimore that first week, I saw the strangest thing. Their promo campaign was my face on billboards and my face on the backs of buses. My face advertising the 6 o'clock news with Jerry Turner. Remember Jerry Turner? And a question on the billboards and the buses said, "What is an Oprah?" Honestly, I didn't really know the answer to that myself. When I moved to Maryland, I had no idea really who I was or what an Oprah was. But I will tell you something, Maryland is where I figured it out.
Wes Moore began his inaugural address with an impression of how Oprah began her remarks.
Hello, Maryland!
And a historical footnote to Oprah Winfrey and Wes Moore speaking back-to-back at the 2023 Maryland governor inauguration. On August 21st, 2024, day 3 of the Democratic Convention in Chicago, it was the exact same speaking order. Oprah Winfrey, followed immediately by Wes Moore. Okay, now, how about Oprah Winfrey and Republicans? Well, let's go back to September 23rd, 2001, a prayer service in Yankee Stadium, 12 days after the terror attacks of 9/11. Oprah Winfrey was the MC for the massive event, and among the speakers she introduced, Rudy Giuliani.
I know you want to hear from him. He's the man of the hour, a man whose extraordinary grace under pressure in the days since this devastating attack has led him to be called America's mayor. He's the mayor of New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, Rudy Giuliani.
At this point in our Oprah Winfrey and Politics podcast, we probably should talk about and hear from Donald Trump. Presidential historian Tevi Troy recently wrote in the Boston Globe that Oprah Winfrey avoided politics completely in the first few decades of her show. She did, however, host Donald Trump on a 1988 show in which he speculated about running for president. Trump was not yet a political figure and went on the show as a businessman and author of a best-selling memoir, 1987's The Art of the Deal. In the interview, Trump said things that one could imagine him still saying today, including that he was tired of seeing what's happening with his country, how we're really making other people live like kings and we're not. As Trump was not a candidate at the time, the interview did not technically violate her no politics stance. But now both are involved in politics. So here's Donald Trump, November 4th, 2018, Macon, Georgia, campaigning for governor candidate Brian Kemp.
So Oprah's been down to Mar-a-Lago, and honestly, we did. Until I ran for office, we did very well. We had a good relationship, and I like Oprah. But you know what you don't know? Oprah, when she ended her show, had her 5 most important people, I assume, her last week. Remember the last week? Well, I was on her full show on the last week. I think they're trying to burn the tape. Are they trying to burn the tape? But Oprah was here to endorse Stacey, and I'm here to endorse Brian. And you know what? I hope you're going to listen to my endorsement.
3 days later, President Trump was back in the White House, a press conference to discuss the 2018 election results.
One, I was tempted to ask you why you like Oprah so much, but I think I'll go on to the question that...
Why do I like Oprah? What kind of a question is it?
Yeah, I'm just asking, just curious. But
He's a comedian here.
The real question is...
I do like Oprah, by the way. I do. She was a person I knew well, came to my place in Palm Beach often, and I have a lot of respect for her. Unfortunately, she didn't do the trick.
Donald Trump even joined in speculation that Oprah Winfrey might enter the Democratic presidential primary in 2020. Here he is, March 10th, 2018, Moon Township, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I'd love Oprah to win. I'd love to beat Oprah. I know her weakness. No, I know her weakness. I know her. You know, I know her very well. I was on her last show, or one of the last, I guess the last week. She had Donald Trump and Donald Trump's family. My, we've come down a long way, haven't we? I'm now president, and probably, you know, but think of it. I know her weakness. Wouldn't we love to run against Oprah? I would love it. I would love it. That would be a painful experience for her.
A reporter even asked President Trump about the prospect of an Oprah Winfrey candidacy following a January 9th, 2018 meeting at the White House with a bipartisan group of congressional leaders talking about immigration policy.
Yeah, I'll beat Oprah. Oprah would be a lot of fun. I know her very well. You know, I did one of her last shows. She had Donald Trump, this is before politics, her last week. And she had Donald Trump and my family. It was very nice. No, I like Oprah. I don't think she's going to run. I don't think she's going to run. I know her very well.
Finally, an Oprah mention showed up in one of the least likely but most famous speeches of the Trump presidency. His remarks at the rally near the White House to protest the results of the Electoral College, just before the riot at the U.S. Capitol, January 6, 2021.
And then I had to beat Stacey Abrams with this guy, Brian Kemp. I had to beat Stacey Abrams, and I had to beat Oprah. Used to be a friend of mine. You know, I was on her last show, her last week. She picked the 5 outstanding people. I don't think she thinks that anymore. Once I ran for president, I didn't notice there were too many calls coming in from Oprah. Believe it or not, she used to like me, but I was one of the 5 outstanding people. And I had a campaign against Michelle Obama and Barack Hussein Obama against Stacey. And I had Brian Kemp.
And now, a bonus clip. We cited earlier presidential historian Tevi Troy's article about Oprah Winfrey in politics. Dr. Troy was on a recent episode of the C-SPAN podcast Book Notes Plus. He was discussing his latest book, The Power and the Money, the epic clashes between commanders-in-chief and titans of industry. The book includes a section on Oprah Winfrey.
Why is Oprah Winfrey on your list?
Yeah, in the book I talk about how many of these CEOs develop platforms as a result of becoming famous and becoming rich and powerful. Oprah, used a platform to become rich and famous and powerful, and then she creates this media empire. And I just thought it was interesting to look at her, and she had a slightly different perspective, and she also had the show. The show was very powerful, but for years she studiously avoided being involved in politics. And it's only in 2000 that she has both George W. Bush and Al Gore on the show, and both of them see bumps in their favorability numbers after going on the show. So we start to realize the power of Oprah in the political world in the 21st century. And then she breaks precedent in 28 and endorses Barack Obama, something she had never done before. So Oprah has this media empire, and she occasionally deploys it to great political effect.
Good idea, bad idea that somebody like Oprah or any of these folks use their platforms to have influence?
It's hard to say whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, in that there's benefits and there's costs to doing it. Sometimes someone like Oprah felt that she felt such an affinity to Obama. She thought it was so important that she would break this longstanding practice of not endorsing a candidate. But a lot of her viewers are Republicans, and so there's potential costs to doing it.
Want more Oprah Winfrey on C-SPAN? Then search the C-SPAN video library. Among the videos you find, the time she testified in Congress, her first time on C-SPAN, 1991, a Senate hearing on a bill that would allow child care centers to check the criminal record of prospective employees by contacting a national computer network. She was introduced by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman, Democrat from Delaware, Joe Biden.
Morning. What's the story? You say good morning and everybody says something. I say good morning and no one responds. Ms. Winfrey, I don't understand it. Usually it starts off that way, and I say good morning, and everyone stands and claps when the senator from South Carolina walks in the room. I want you to know, Ms. Winfrey, before we begin, and by the way, welcome, that this is a normal, typical hearing for us. I just want you to know that there is your presence here has had no impact on the press or anyone being here, and we are so delighted that you're here. We really are. And even more delighted, quite frankly, with the intense interest you've shown in the subject that this committee, and not just this committee, but I believe every member of Congress and at the White House has as well as the White House, has a keen concern in.
By the way, the hearing was held on November 12, 1991. It was 1 month after Senator Biden chaired the Judiciary Committee's Clarence Thomas Supreme Court nomination hearing. Testifying then, Anita Hill. At the time, Oprah Winfrey was closely associated with Chicago. The Chicago Tribune reported this about her testimony. Despite tight budgets, Chicago's 3 major network-owned stations will send staff to report for the newscasts on Winfrey's appearance, which falls during the autumn ratings measuring period, and independent WGN-TV assigned a news crew stationed in the Capitol. Joe Biden was at the White House on December 20th, 1993, when President Clinton signed the National Child Protection Act. So, too, Oprah Winfrey.
First of all, I thank you, Oprah, for a lifetime of being committed to the well-being of our children and for giving child abuse issues such wonderful coverage on your show. You wrote the original blueprint for this law, and we're grateful, becoming a tireless advocate for its passage, lobbying members of Congress of both parties for more than 2 years, and lobbying the president. People occasionally do that, too. All of us, but especially our children, owe you their gratitude.
That's it for this episode of C-SPAN's The Weekly. For now, thanks for listening and happy searching.